Anthony Jannicelli is the police chief from Woodcliff Lakes. He has a few words to say.
Good evening. My name is Tony Jannicelli. I am the chief of police in Woodcliff Lake. I've been involved in law enforcement since 1973 as a special and as a full-time officer since 1978. I have 3 children and reside in Hillsdale since 1986, and I formally requested the town name me Field House for Joanne. I became involved with Rosemary when McGowan first came up for parole. There was a rally in the center of Hillsdale where several police agencies sent patrol cars as a show of support. Over the years, I've been invited to many of these functions, and not only here to raise funds, but also keep the pressure to keep McGowan in prison. I was in Hackensack when the governor signed Joans law into effect to make sure these criminals do not get out of prison. New Jersey no longer has a death penalty. As a police chief, I'll sometimes ask for my opinion on the death penalty. There are many arguments on both sides, whether it's a deterrent, justice, or just revenge. I don't know what's in the heart and mind of a murderer and what would deter him. What I do know is this. At once executed, there's a very low recidivism rate. And secondly, I've never heard of an executed murderer escaping from a cemetery. Unfortunately, Jones' law did not apply to McGowan because it went into effect after his crime. My purpose for speaking tonight is to reinforce these efforts to keep McGowan in prison. In 2008, another parole hearing took place. Thousands of signatures were obtained, which I'm sure had a direct impact on his remaining in prison. After signing petitions, I decided to sign a separate letter and send it to the parole board on my police department letterhead. I think copies are on your table. Every year the FBI issues an officer killed report. This report lists the number of police officers that are killed in the line of duty for that year. It statistically breaks down the number into several categories, such as federal, state, county, and local police. Their ages, gender, length of time of service, time of the day of the week, and cause of death, among others. It just so happens I was reading one of my police magazines and saw a statistic that I was not aware of. The statistic that stood out is that approximately 40% of police officers feloniously assaulted or killed are done so by parolees. As a result, I generated the following letter, and it reads as follows. Chairman Peter Barnes, New Jersey Parole Board. Dear Chairman Barnes, I'm writing you today to bring to your attention my concerns regarding the possible release of Joseph McGowan on parole. As both a Hillsdale resident and a police chief in a neighboring town, I urge you and the parole board to do everything you can to keep McGowan in state prison. He received a life sentence for the most horrendous of the crimes possible. He should serve the sentence for the rest of his life. The impact of his crime is fresh on our minds today as it was when the crime was committed. The release of McGowan will not accomplish anything positive. My concerns are both for the safety of our children as well as for any officers that may come in contact with him. I have enclosed an article from the November 2008 American Police Beat magazine for your review dealing with the threat to law enforcement from parolees. If there's one chance in 100 that McGowan could be a repeat offender, I would not take that chance to grant him the parole. History shows that chances are probably much higher. Are you willing to take the chance and then live with the consequences of your life-changing decision? I would not. Over the past several weeks, I've seen many petitions that have been signed by our residents who are also concerned about the release of McGowan. I'm sure you've received many of these. It is unfortunate that the D'Alessandro family has to relive this process every few years. Please listen to the concerns and fears of your public. I certainly do not want to confront McGowan on the street, and I'm sure he would not want to confront me. Thank you and the parole board for your consideration on this matter. Respectfully submitted, Chief Anthony Jannicelli of the Cliff Lake Police Department. I want to thank you for your time, your attention, and continued support.